So, as per your today's lesson plan, we're supposed to discuss, of course, past continuous, as I've told you that, and another one is punctuation, punctuation marks. So, let me first of all share the screen so you could see. I think the screen is visible to you, right? So
Yeah.
before I start with the tenses, let's begin with the punctuation marks. So there are the numerous punctuation marks which we study in English, and it has got some importance, I can say, of these punctuation marks. So how do we use it? Where we use it? We're supposed to learn this thing with the help of seeing those marks over here, and it has got explanation over there. So again, I have found this on englishstudypage.com. It's a website, and it tells or it gives information, beautiful information about these things. The very first one which gives over here, that is full stop, or we call it period. In British language, we can say that British English, we call it a full stop, or in other accents, we also call it as a period. So why we use it? They say that it is used at the end of a sentence or at the end of the short form of a word. So it means to say that it is a completion. It is actually making a sentence complete. So when you apply full stop or a period over that, means you have completed the one sentence. For example, which is given over here, that is I like swimming. So I like swimming. When you place the full stop over there, it means sentence is complete. You do not want to say anything more. आप इससे आज ज़्यादा कुछ भी और नहीं कहना चाहते हैं. That is why you applied full stop over there. Then the second one is that is called as comma. It is used to separate parts of a sentence, showing a slight pause or to separate the single things in a list. So we must have seen commas in the sentences. So what is the usage of? They are trying to tell you. First thing is it shows a slight pause. Means to say that there is a sentence and you want to say something, but at that point you want to put halt over there. So what can you do over there? You can apply comma over there. So that is how we use it. It's I want to eat cheese, comma egg and potatoes. So with the help of this, you can easily understand, how we apply comma over there. So my first purpose is to put a pause over there. You want to take halt. Then the second one is they're saying you want to separate a single thing from the list. So there are numerous things, and you want to put comma over there so that you can differentiate. Then next is semicolon. It is used between two parts of a sentence, usually when each of the two parts could form grammatical sentence on their own. So there are two parts, and semicolon is somehow helping you to differentiate, and this is how you understand more with more clarity that what exactly the person actually is wanting to tell you. So Davis drives a Jaguar, then you apply semicolon. Tom drives a Porsche. So here you can understand Tom drives a Jaguar. So if you say in a flow, sometime it will be hard for you to understand that how have you differentiated. So here we can easily know from this that Davis who's driving a Jaguar and Tom who's having a Porsche, he was also driving Porsche. So there are two brands, Jaguar and Porsche, and we are differentiating these with the help of semicolon. Then we have a next which is colon. They are saying it is used especially to introduce a list of things or a sentence or phrase taken from somewhere else. More clarity will be from the sentence or the example. We have two choices, work hard or fail. So they're saying it is used especially to introduce a list of things or sentence or phrase taken from somewhere else. So there are two things. The colon is trying to tell you that there are two things. It's separately. One is we have two choices. Okay, then we apply colon. What are those two choices? We are trying to make a list. So one is
Hello,
work
sir.
hard or fail. So these are
Hello.
two choices: work hard or fail. Before you
Sir.
give the choices, we're supposed to apply the colon in these kind
हेलो
of
सर.
sentences. हाँ जी.
सर पता नहीं लग रहा सर आप क्या बोल रहे हो. ये समझ नहीं आ
आवाज
रहा
नहीं आ रही
कुछ.
आपको?
नहीं
सर
सर
साउंड
आवाज.
एको कर रही
साउंड
हाँ जी.
साउंड इको हो रही है।
क्लियर नहीं है सर वॉइस आपकी।
साउंड इको तो हो रही है, वो तो मुझे भी नजर महसूस हो रही है, बट आई थिंक.
सर पता नहीं लग पा रहा आप क्या करा रहे हैं.
हेलो, आवाज आ रही?
यस सर।
सर एक्चुअली नहीं आ रही।
एक मिनट, let me see. कुछ होगा.
सर क्लियर नहीं है।
अब ठीक है? Is it fine now?
नो सर।
आवाज आ रही है अब?
यस सर।
हेलो।
हाँ जी।
हेलो, किसी को आवाज आ रही है?
नहीं नहीं।
मुझे भी नहीं. ओके.
डीप करते हैं।
हेलो, आवाज आ रही बेटा? बंद
सर
कर
फिर
दें.
भी.
इज इट ओके नाउ?
नो सर.
नो सर, क्यों यार, मैंने दो ऑन किए हुए हैं, दूसरे पे बड़े अच्छे से आवाज आ रही है मुझे.
यस सर, अब क्लियर है।
यस सर।
चलो ठीक है. सो Next one is, you want me to repeat the previous session, or is it fine? सेशन को रिपीट करूं पहले जो
सर
किया है
आपकी
कि
वॉइस ब्रेक हो रही है अभी भी।
सर रिपीट कर दीजिए।
हाँ जी, रिपीट कर दूं। Okay, so we started with the punctuation marks, and I started with full stop. So what is full stop? I think you must have read in your schoolings. So what I'm just trying to tell that some in British English we call it as a full stop, but in other forms of accent like American English we use, or we call it as period. So what is the usage of it? They are saying it we use at the end of the sentence. So when you feel like you have completed the sentence, you should place full stop over there or a period over there. So example is given in front of you on your screen. That is, I like swimming. Then we have placed full stop over there. Means I do not want to say anything else in the sentence. So I have completed my sentence. That is how I have used I like swimming. The next one is comma. Comma is, there are two usages. One is to put a pause over there, means there is a complete long sentence and you want to take halt in between of it. You want to give a little pause, small pause, so that you can apply over there comma, or it is to separate the single things in a list. So there are two words we use for, in English for comma. I want to eat cheese, comma, egg and potatoes. So here we can understand like what or how we have used comma. I want to eat cheese. Then we have applied, we have paused over there for some time. So it's a little pause. I want to eat cheese. Then comma, egg and potatoes. So we have separated the list as well, and we have also tried to put a little halt over there. So in these kind of situations, we use comma. Next one is semicolon. So they are saying it is to differentiate two paths in English. Davis drives a Jaguar, Tom drives a Porsche. So there are two people driving two different cars. So to avoid any confusion, we have semicolon. Davis drives a Jaguar, then we apply the semicolon. Tom drives a Porsche. So in writing, we can say that's it. If we speak, it does not come, because spoken part is something different from the written part. So in writing skills, we're supposed to apply all these rules. So that is how they have helped you, that how or where we apply the semicolon. Next we have colon. They're saying it is specially used to introduce a list of things or a sentence or a phrase taken from somewhere else. So there are two things. One is you originally use, and another one is you try to pick it from somewhere else. So that is how they have said that you apply colon. Example is clearing everything. We have two choices, then you apply colon, work or hard or fail. So one sentence, we have two choices, and what are those choices? To explain about those two choices, we're supposed to apply colon. Then with the help of colon, you can explain, you can write down work hard or fail. So there is option between two things. You want to get fail or you want to work hard. And when writing, when you want to write these things, you cannot just write down in a one sentence. We're supposed to apply colon in between of it. Then we have a question mark. I think it's very clear to you. Everybody knows about a question mark. It's we use it when we have mind of interrogating something. So then we apply question mark. So when you ask question, where is the bank? And you apply question mark, it means you are asking a question. You want to know that where is bank. Then we have exclamation mark. It is used immediately after an exclamation. What does it mean? They are saying it like there are different moods, like when you are too sad or when you are too happy. In these kind of situations, we use it. When an exceptional child, this is what an exceptional child is. It means you are happy from inside, and you want to what do you call you want to adore that, you want to admire that. In that situation, you are very happy. So in that mean, you can apply exclamation mark over there. What an exceptional child this is, then you can apply this thing. So it shows that what was your mood at that time. Ellipsis mark, it is used in writing to show where one or more words have been intentionally left out. So you must have seen dot 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 after, sometime if if something it has written after that there are dots applied, it means these are left intentionally. It's not like that somebody someone has forgotten to write something and he or she has applied those dots. It means to say that intentionally someone has pointed those dots, which means these are the punctuation marks. And what is the meaning of it? They are saying it like when you feel like there are more words, and these are the words that you would understand. Example is there, you went to the restaurant and then dot dot dot. It means when you expect that other person would understand, okay, what do you want to say? Okay, so that is for that. There are few more words which I want to write, but intentionally I'm leaving out because I do not want to say here, or I do not want to write anything over here. It means you can easily guess that what exactly or what am I pointing towards. Then we have quotation marks. It is used to indicate a word or a phrase to show that someone else has written or said it. So when special information, we can say that we see and we feel like that this is the reference or it is the quotation of someone else's. So we want to write the sentence in under the quotation marks. I want to do it, she said. So she said we did not quote, but we put the quotation marks, and I want to do it. So this was something she was wanting. So here it seems a simple sentence, but you never know, what was the situation, why you were quoting it. It could be, it could be like, for example, someone wants to dive in a river, and that's how we can write down like she said that I want to do it, because we were not having life jackets or anything. So we try to say this thing when you put or place quotation marks over there. So yes, quotation marks. It means we try to give weightage to that sentence. Then we have apostrophe, and what is the meaning of apostrophe? They are saying it is used to show when a letter or after to show possession. Basically, it is what to show possession. Apostrophe S is to show possession. Like there is something which is of someone or it is related to someone. So then you apply apostrophe S over there. Then you can you can relate that with that first person. And this is Stephen's car. Really. So they're saying this car. There's a car over there, and we have 4 or 5 people over there, and they do not know whose car is parked over there. So at that time we can use in a writing skill like this is Stephen's car. So Stephen is name, or Steve is a name. So what we do over here, we just have applied apostrophe, and then we applied S with it. Then we wrote towards the indication that what exactly you want to correlate. It could be car, it could be dress, it could be watch, it could be bat, ball, whatever you feel like. So you can write over there. So that is what we call apostrophe. Then we have slash. Where do we use slash? It is used in writing to separate letters, numbers, or words. I think this is also very common. Like a lot of people, they use this thing when you try to when you try to give what we call option. We can say that among the different things like and or you try to separate dates. We use this thing like today's if it's 13, so we write on 13//2021. Okay. Or we try to again used numerically. For example, 1/2. I would look for this thing 1/2 or 2/3, 3/4. So by means you apply slash over there. So this is more for the numerical, but we have alphabets as well, as I've said it, and or. These are the examples. Then we have brackets. So there are 2 different types of brackets which it has given. One is the round bracket. So they're saying it is used to it is used to add extra information to a sentence. Lisa, then brackets on 8 years old, bracket of is a little girl. So Lisa is a lens, but you have added information in brackets that is 8 years old, because you want to tell that years, it could be 2 years, it could be 8 years.
सर
So, of course, yes.
सर इससे थोड़ा पहले वाला पॉइंट बता दीजिए, मैं मीटिंग में लेफ्ट हो गया था।
हाँ जी बेटा,
इससे जो पहले दो पॉइंट आप बताए होंगे ना, उससे मेरा मीटिंग
कौन सा
ऑटोमेटिक लेफ्ट हो गया था। हाँ सर बस।
apostrophe F. ठीक है.
यस सर।
Apostrophe means when you try to show the possession with something. This is my pen. This is my car. This is my. So when you talk about from a third person's point of view, so this can also be done with the apostrophe here. This is Steven's car. So this is Steven's car. There is a car over there, and there are 5-6 people who are standing over there, and you try to relate. Then that is the mark over there. That is, we can see that, right? The comma we place downwards, so that comes on upward side. We can say that is called as apostrophe. In the S, it will show that this relate to this person. Then we have a slash. Slash has different usages. In alphabets, we try to differentiate. For example, when you try to give option like and, or, so you try to correlate. In numerics, we have we can use slash for dates. We can use slash for quantities. For example, we apply 2 by 3rd, 1 by 2, 1 by 4. In these kind of sentences, we use slash. Then we were discussing brackets. One is the round bracket. Round bracket is used to describe more information. Example is there, Lisa is a little girl. So it's a complete sentence, but in brackets we wrote 8 years old. So what does it mean? It means to say that we try to give extra information. We can write down 3 years old, 2 years old, 5 years old. It means that like when you read this information in brackets, you could get exact information. Means I have written little, but it could be little for a father. But here, if we are saying little, we're supposed to see this thing as yes, exactly. This age is only 8 years. Where we provide the saying it is used to include words added by someone other or speaker, typically in order to clarify the situation. So try to see, sometimes means bracket, but brackets have differences. Round bracket gets the additional information, and the square brackets, it talks about the original, right? Then we have brackets. Electricity is really just organized lightning. So when you quote this thing, when you put the square bracket, it means it's not your original thought. It is someone else's thought, and that is how you're trying to put brackets. So the reader would understand it. Okay, this is not what you are saying. It is something like you think of that, the original writer or a speaker. That is why you wrote or you have applied a square brackets over there. Then we have underline. It is used to specially emphasize. Emphasize means when you try to put stress on something. The meeting will start at 10 a.m. So meeting will start at 10 a.m. means to say that you are underlining the 10 p.m. or a.m. It means you are stressing that, as I've said, the 10 p.m. a.m. So there is a difference. If you just write down 10, so it's not clear. So when you underline and use specific with the AM and PM, which we read yesterday, that what is a common abbreviation, what are the standard abbreviations. So with this we can understand AM and PM, which tells you about the post meridian and after meridian. So with this thing we can understand, okay, this is a morning time, this is the evening time or the noon time. So that is how we try to put stress with the underline. For example, you need to meet underline Mr. Ravinder Singh. So underline Ravinder means there are multiple people over there who is sitting in the accounts office, but Your meeting has been scheduled with Mr. Ravinder Singh. That is why we have underlined Ravinder Singh. Then we have underscore. It is used to draw a line under. So it's something, it has a usage of underscore, means you try to differentiate a word from the other alphabet. So that is more for the differentiation of. So when you put the underscore, it means you try to differentiate from one alphabet or one from the other. Then we have a hyphen. This is to joining. As I told you that underscore is to differentiate, hyphen is to somehow together or indicate that they have combined meaning. Well-to-do, rock forming, pick me up. Okay, so when you apply hyphens in between of those, it shows close relationship, or these words are quite applied to. Then we have a dash, right? We call it a blank or a dash. It is used to separate parts of a sentence. We saw 2 movies at theater today. Dash, I didn't really like either of them. So it is used to separate parts of a sentence. So there is one part of the sentence, there is another part of the sentence. So you, in the one line, you made 2 sentences and you expressed 2 different things. In one expression, you have said that, okay, you have watched movies in theater. But in the second expression, you said that I did not really like either of them. Means आपको उसमें से कोई भी movie पसंद नहीं आई. So there were 2 sentences. So what you did, you just applied dash in between of it. So with the help of this, you can easily understand, okay, why dash it has been applied. So these were the few of the punctuation marks. हाँ जी बेटा.
सर क्या ये जो डैश है ना, ये फुल स्टॉप से रिप्लेस हो सकता है फिर?
नहीं, फुल स्टॉप से रिलेशन नहीं होगा. ये है 2 चीजों को सेपरेट करके जोड़ रहा है. फुल स्टॉप तो एंड कर देता है. फुल स्टॉप इज टू एंड द सेंटेंस. दिस इज मींस यू हैव. बेटा फुल स्टॉप में 2 सेंटेंस कहां से आ गए? फुल स्टॉप में 1 सेंटेंस के बाद लगता है. 2 सेंटेंस के बाद थोड़ी लगता फुल स्टॉप. कोई भी एक सेंटेंस लिखोगे, उसके बाद उसको फुल स्टॉप का मतलब होता है आपने ये सेंटेंस एंड कर दिया. यहाँ पे आप सेंटेंस एंड नहीं कर रहे हो.
दूसरा सेंटेंस लिख सकते हैं ना फुल स्टॉप के बाद. यहाँ पे 2 सेंटेंस.
हाँ बिल्कुल लिख सकते हैं दूसरा सेंटेंस, लेकिन वो कोरिलेट नहीं हो रहा. जब आपको कोरिलेट करना है तो आपको वहां पर डैश लगाना पड़ेगा. When you try to, you have 2 expressions in a mind, but you want to say in a 1 sentence, but sentence will become too long. Probably it will be ambiguous to other person to understand it. To avoid that ambiguity, what can we do? We can apply a dash over there, so that the person will understand that the first expression is that you have watched movies. So that is the first expression. In the second expression, you have said that, but दोनों movies तुम्हें पसंद नहीं आई, you did not like it. So that is why you applied the same. This was a long sentence. You separated with the help of a dash. Okay.
Okay sir.
ठीक है. चलिए next is our tenses जो हम topic discuss करते हैं. That is today we are going to discuss past continuous tense. So yesterday we discussed one of the continuous that was present continuous. Today we are going to discuss past continuous. Past continuous is comparatively more easier as compared to present, because we have only was and were. So for the plural we use were, and for the singular we use was, like he, she, and name we apply was, and for the you, we, they we apply were. So that is how there is the usage of was and were. Rest of the rule will remain the same as of the present continuous. We use. I explained in the yesterday's lecture as well that in some of the places like Bihar, I think they use V4, V5s, like something like that. But we say V1 plus ing, so meaning will remain the same. Meaning में कोई फर्क नहीं है. आप इसको V4 भी बोल सकते हो, आप इसको V1 plus ing भी बोल सकते हो. मीनिंग दोनों का एक ही निकल के आएगा. So it does not mean that कुछ दोनों में से कोई गलत है. दोनों ही सही है, because when we are going to apply, the actual result will tell you that this is what we have to apply. So that is past continuous, and where we use it, it means when we have the continuation in the past. Means you make sentence where you want to talk about something which has happened in the past, or which was happening in the past basically, and that is into the continuation. So we need to show the continuity as well. So that is he was playing, as yesterday we made sentence like I am playing, right? So here we can say that I was playing. Okay, so we can apply this thing. I was playing, you were playing, he was playing. So these are different. There are different subjects. By seeing those subjects, we apply was or were, but rest it will remain the same. Verbs first form and ing. For the negative, it will become not, was not, and were not. I was not playing, he was not playing, you were not playing. So that would come. Interrogative, was and were will come at the start of the sentence, at the beginning. So we apply were you playing, okay, something like that. So was he playing, was he going, was he doing that. So you apply these at the beginning of it, then you apply the subject, and the rest of the sentence will come up automatically and will give the sense. So we can compare these two things. Continuation is there, but the difference only it comes off the time phrase. Means to say that phase of a time is different. We in a present continuous, we just try to talk about present. In a past continuous, we try to talk about something which was going on in the past. Okay, means you saw that something was going on. For example, someone will ask you, okay, did you see him? And you said he was playing cricket in the ground. In the second sentence, you can say that when I saw him, he was playing cricket. So when I saw him means this is something which has already been gone. You talk about the past, but you try to explain the situation that is of the present. So that is why you mention over there past continuous, that he was playing when you saw him. So that is the situation. Present continuous and the past continuous, that is the difference. So far we have completed we call all the indefinites and 2 of the continuouses. So shall I ask you a few questions? Okay, so I'll ask one of the question. You're supposed to change the tense, and let's see that how would you change it. He was playing, that is the sentence. And if I'm audible with all of you, what you can do, he was playing. Okay, so let me write that as well on chat box. Okay, he was playing, right? So please change that, change the tense basically. Change that means change the tense. In the past indefinite negative. He was playing. Change it into past indefinite negative. Yes. Yes. He did not used to play. Okay. He was not playing. Okay. He was not playing as a sentence. And yes, somebody wrote here. He did not playing. Muhammad Cash. This is wrong. We do not apply ing in past indefinite. Playing is wrong. He was not playing. He did not play is right. Kartik Dineja, he did not play. Kiran Kumari, he didn't play. Aisha Kumari, he did not play. Taran Preet Singh, yes, you all are right. So answer is he did not play. He didn't used to play is also wrong. Used to play is something when you talk about that वो चीज किया करता था अब नहीं करता है. Okay, so that is how we use the sentence used to. He used to play, he used to smoke, he used to drink. Okay, so we just try to express that in the past he was doing these things. But here we are just trying a situation where you saw something and in continuation that was going on. So used to, यहाँ पे sense नहीं आएगा. यहाँ पे he is not playing, he was playing. It means something exactly was happening. It's not about used to. So when you change it into the past indefinite, it will become he. Okay, so I'll ask one more question to you. He does not go to college. Not go to college. There is a sentence, and make it past continuous negative.
He was not going to
Past
college.
continuous negative. Okay, what about others? He is not going to college. We are not going to college. We are not going to college. Okay, I'm seeing the answer. What about others? He is not going to college. Okay. No, not going to college. Good. Yes. Everybody is right here. I can see the answers. He wasn't going to college. Okay. He was not going to college. Fine. So answer ठीक है. Everybody wrote right answer. So this is how we change. We just have to, switch these things very fast, because when we speak, we actually do not know that what sentence we are, which tense we are actually going to use it. As I've told you that, I saw and they use playing over there. It means there is a combination of two of the tenses. One is past indefinite, second is past continuous. So sometime we can club something with the future as well. Okay. So something like that, right? So we're supposed to use it. I don't know where will he go. So that's a combination of present indefinite and future indefinite. I don't know where will he go. So we have future indefinite and we have a present indefinite. So you need to do practice on these things so that you can become more confident on writing these things. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I think that's clear to you. So let me take now your attendance. I'm going to stop presenting my screen. I'm going to stop recording as well. So if you want to listen to it, you can listen it from your Google Classroom. I'm going to post it over there. I'm posting every day all the videos. I'm trying to say that. Even I'm posting on the YouTube channels, because if someone has a problem in seeing or viewing the Google Classroom, there's a link over there in Google Classroom. You can view that video through YouTube. So I'm posting in my YouTube channel as well. Okay, guys, thank you so much for